All right, episode 33, Throwin Sliders podcast. We got El Paso County recap with our special guest, Mr. Bryan Gossel. Talk about all things El Paso and a little bit of high limit tonight on the Throwin Sliders podcast. If I talk, here we go. All right, back again on Facebook, hopefully YouTube. Might be TBD on YouTube, getting the green check mark up there. But yeah, welcome back. Hope everybody had a great weekend. There we go. Mark Brimkamp missed you last week. Babyface Blair from last season, if you recall. So welcome back to the show, Mark. He is actually watching on YouTube, so I think that settles that problem. But yeah. Welcome back to the show. Blair had an eventful weekend, and we're going to dive into that with our guest, Mr. Gossel. If you recall, last year we had his son, Bryan Gossel, on the show. So father's son, Austin. Why did I say Bryan? I'm all over the place, man. It's been a long day. My director quit on me today, so my brain's been all over the place. But I am Brandon Hall, co-owner and host of Scrubbin' Tires Media and the Throwin Sliders podcast. Retired outlaw cart driver, and I'll pass to your left, my right on the screen. Blair.
Yeah, Blair Cooper, sprint car driver. Just happy to be here.
Car driver.
Yeah. Yeah, I never know what to say when you open me. Like, people know who I am or they don't. And if they don't, well.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like in the pre-show, Blair and I are talking who should do the cold open. It's like, no, you do it. You're good. But you got to be Johnny on the spot. You know the intro is coming every week when I say, How about next week we lead off with you introducing yourself, and then you can pass to me. We'll do that.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
All right.
I'll screw it.
All right. No, we're good. We're not live or anything. It's all good. All right. Well, enough about Blair and I. We are super excited to have Bryan on here. Talk about all things racing. Kind of, we were talking in the pre-show about his background and kind of the family company. So I'm excited to learn more about Bryan. I've only got the opportunity to meet him-ish. Last, when was that? When did you guys run when you broke the front axle at El Paso?
That was probably about this time last year. Okay. Maybe, yeah, a little later in summer. So
yeah, and Austin did the 50-50 grind on the turn 4 wall. That was fun. Yeah. So
Austin and I had a rough night.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, without further ado, we're going to get Bryan in here. But without further ado, we'll give our presenting partner, Racing Rowdy Ranch, some love. If you haven't already, go check out the remaining hats we have from 2024. Working on getting more in there as things kind of ramp up here in the podcasting season and racing season. So we appreciate the support there. Get on there, racingrowdyranch.com, get you a hat, and more to come on that. So without further ado, let's do it.
Racing Rowdy Ranch was created with one person, one adjective, and one place in mind: the blue-collar racer and the crew behind the scenes. A word that can describe these racers and crews and how they live. Finally, a place where the straightaways and turns are these racers' pastures and hills, all bordered by concrete walls that could share more than their fair share of memories, even after several coats of paint. We are racing. We live rowdy and we long to be at the ranch, riding for the brand. An apparel company designed to showcase just that, push the limits every day, and be proud of who we are. Visit racingrowdyranch.com now to order yours today. Saddle up, strap in, and live rowdy. Proud presenting partner of Scrubbin' Tires Media and the Throwin Sliders podcast.
I was just thinking when that intro was playing, why doesn't Austin have a hat? He's a hat guy. He needs one. We need to get him
one. He's a good hat guy.
Yeah, he could be a model for us. We'll pay top dollar.
Right? He's a good looking dude. I don't know who he definitely gets it from his mom. She's the hot one. So
whoa, all right. Starting off the show on a good note. I see what you're doing there.
Spicy.
Yeah. All right. Well, welcome to the show, Bryan. Appreciate you tuning in and joining tonight. You're in, how did you pronounce it? Baltimore?
You got to say ball when you're out here in Baltimore, not Baltimore.
Baltimore. So he's 2 hours ahead of us. So we thank you for cutting into your sleep time. So Yeah, let's get right into it. Blair, you're always the lead off, so I'll be the designated hitter here, so to speak.
Well, I figured we wanted to get a good time. Obviously, appreciate you coming on, but I knew Brian had a compelling story. I've gotten to know the family a little bit, all the way from Grandpa Gossel on down, and was just really impressed with the operation, how professional they are, and how nice. And Brian and Austin and the family have done, it seems like, every form of open wheel sprint car and stuff like that you could, from dirt, asphalt. So if you're in this area in any part, really now any part of the country, I see you get a lot of coverage, and pretty cool story. I mean,
national coverage, yeah.
Yeah. So running everything 360, 410, open wheel, asphalt, non-wing. So
school
we'll just get
buses,
started.
yeah, all of it.
Yeah, Brian. I mean, yeah, maybe just a little bit. We'll give the background for the people that don't know, kind of how you've built up your operation, how it all started, and then we can work up to present day. So if you want to just give us a little time, and we'll get that story out there first.
Oh, heck yeah. For all the local people, it's so cool to see how many people have followed me from like the week I turned 16. My 14-year-old brother and I took my dad's Ford Torino Superstock to Field Rocky Mountain National Speedway by ourselves. And we were legit towing it with like a Chevy Caprice station wagon, open trailer. And Mark and I went by ourselves because my stepmom, I love her to pieces. She wouldn't let me drive till I was 16. And my dad was working nights and couldn't go. And I was like, we're going. So that was where it all started.
Is there pictures of this? I got to see this.
Yeah, there's pictures. There's definitely pictures. I got them. I mean, there's some pictures out there. The old
we'll have to get with you offline and post those on the page, because that is true racing right there back in the day. Open trailers, none of this. Yeah.
The station wagon too, the old baby blue Chevy Caprice station wagon, man, that thing was legit.
That's awesome.
But just into that, and did some IMC modified stuff. Did very, very, very little late model. I wouldn't even say I raced late models, but tried to. And man, going back, I used to make fun of like sprint car drivers, because like I always called them like pantyhose wearing, daisy sniffing, Perrier water drinking, just prima donnas, because I never thought in my wildest, like, they were so far out there. I'm like, dude, I'm never going to be there.
You just described Blair in 5 words. It's good. Except you got to, not the sparkling water, you got to put in the Starbucks, because he enjoys that.
Starbucks.
Oh, man. But yeah, just doing that and looking at what sprint cars were. And my, he's like my second or third cousin, whatever he is. I just call him my cousin Marlon Jones. Like, he raced sprint cars forever, and he was Houston's track champion and did outlaw stuff and like raced for a living. And he was my hero growing up, and always wanted to be like that. And there was actually some pictures too where Cindy went with me, and we had a Ford van and an open trailer, an old U-Haul trailer that we towed to Jackson, Minnesota, and went racing in our modified. And dude, that was some of the fastest you'd ever been in that black dirt back there, because we don't have dirt in Colorado, we got sand.
Right.
Went out there and went racing, and I was going to get to race at Huset's. And man, like growing up, I was trying to count, I definitely moved around a lot growing up. I went to like 10 or 12 different schools, from all over, just moving and going from mom to dad. And I actually went to junior high, I think, in Brandon, South Dakota, which is where Huset's at. Yeah. So we lived there. And I got to go to the racetrack and just watch. And we went to Huset's, and it rained out, so we didn't get to race there. But there's a picture of me in Marlon's trailer, and he had 2 cars in the trailer, and I'm just sitting in the car, just like,
Yeah. You were there. That's what matters.
I was there and got to just do it. And, Cindy and I definitely started young parents. I mean, now we have Maddie, our daughter Madison, and son Austin, and Madison has 3 children. So
Grandpa Gossel
here, we got a 6-year-old, 3-year-old, and 1.5-year-old granddaughter. So it's pretty spectacular. I'm sure Cindy's at home. Maybe probably too late, but we get the middle one, Walker, every Monday now. We had the older one. Now we get the middle one, and it's such a blessing. He and I were on FaceTime today for I don't know, quite a while, and he is Chatty Cathy. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, take us through in the pre-show. We were talking a lot about the Bryan Gossel Automotive, BG Automotive, same thing.
Same thing.
Take us through that, and that it's a pretty big deal. I mean, I guess I didn't realize how big of a deal that is.
Man, like growing up, like I always joke, I rode the short bus. So I'm not that smart of a guy. Like I try to be honest with people to inspire them, to let them know what they can really do. Like I do struggle with reading. I used to say I can't read, but I can read. I just struggle with math and all the stuff that school teaches you. But I could work really hard, and I could build stuff. And so doing that, I always was a mechanic, and just certain things led us to where I worked for a lot of people. And then in 2007, we actually, I mean, I'll go full disclosure. We had we partnered with my best friend, and who was my boss, and opened a motorcycle parts and accessory business. And 9/11 happened, and kind of crap hit the fan, and we actually had to file bankruptcy. And I had lost my best friend, lost my job, and went to be just a mechanic, just wrenching on cars, and worked for a guy. And I was like, man, looking around, and there's so many God aspects that led me to opening BG Automotive in 2007. So if that was 17 or 18 years ago, it was we're 3 blocks off the main street on a dead end street in an industrial park with literally a metal bench, 4 jack stands, and my toolbox.
I mean, that's a start.
Still have my toolbox, still have the metal benches at Webster's, we call them by the name of the street. It's still there in the original shop, which went from 1,200 square foot, 2 bays, to that is now a behemoth of, I think it's 11 bays and like 7,000 square feet, because it was a complex, and we just kept knocking holes in the walls and growing it.
The Garage Mahal.
The Garage Mahal. And as you guys were asking, how do I get to do this stuff? I mean, I'm truly blessed to surround myself with a bunch of superstars. Hiring, training, recruiting, and continuing to grow them. It is our mission, vision, purpose. It is our mission, is our duty to improve the automotive industry and its public perception. I did have a vision we did have a vision. It was 5 by 2025, and we were at 5 stores by 23.
There you go.
And it was really before I decided to really go full-time racing like I did last year. I was like, oh, let's 30 by 30. That sounds pretty cool. And I did the math, and I was like, we were not set up to do it properly. So we kind of slowed down just a little bit to build in processes and solidify all the corporate structure. That word corporate is really important when you start growing, and just learning a bunch, and all this stuff that Cindy's been on me about, to make sure we have the processes to make sure, to keep honest people honest. It's been a massive learning curve. We actually just rolled out each store's P&Ls individually at each store last month, which is a huge thing. We hired a CFO, which is the big finance smart people with numbers. So, but yeah, we went. Cindy, you asked how what Cindy does. Like, she actually does hair and nails, and that's her passion and what she loves to do. She still has a salon in the original shop.
So I was going to ask, if I come get my oil change, can I get my hair cut too? Is that one of them deals?
If you're very special, you get to.
Man, that is a business model.
Well, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty good.
There is definitely people that get their hair cut and their oil changed at the same time, but it's a very select few.
That's awesome.
There we go.
Get to do that.
Well, if I'm ever up there, I'm gonna come in and ask for both.
There you go. Good luck scheduling that, though.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah. But yeah, we went from 1 store to 3 stores in a month. It's just how things lined out, and we literally went from 1 to 3 in under a month.
Dang.
And it was the second one was 1.5 miles away from the original one. The other one was in Longmont, which is 45 minutes away. And it was just it went well. It couldn't have went. I mean, we always have hiccups and learn as we're going. But it went so good. and then we solidified the 3, and then when 4 came about, and then 5, and I am been actively looking. It is challenging finding stuff that's worth acquiring or buying or building right now.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, especially
You know,
the market. Go ahead, Blair.
it's funny. It's funny, Brian, when you kind of talk about how it went for you. Is there's a couple things that we find by talking to a lot of guys that are either advanced in their careers and in racing as well. And one is generally the personality type is a risk taker. I mean, to go bust and then start over and say, I'm just going to work my way out of it, learn and go. Obviously, you're smarter than you let on. It may not be the traditional school sense, but you can't be dumb and do what you're doing. So, and then I think like your work ethic and then your morality, obviously people are drawn. I mean, I could tell right away that I knew you were a good dude, and your family, just the way everybody carries themselves. And also that these people get to it by creativity, like, you know, kind of ingenious ways of getting to do what they love and balancing the business. Because for me, that's always the hardest part. It's like, we talked about that a little bit. You can't, you know, what my parents have basically built. I don't want to fail there, but I also want to try to have to carry out my dream, which is to go racing. And I got a late start to it. So now I'm having to just do, the 14, 16-hour days. You don't have a lot of help, but the more successful you are, it seems like the more people actually want to help you. And then you have to determine who's there for mutual benefits of everyone and who's there to just kind of carry off the back of what you've done. So it's tricky to navigate. I have a lot of respect for the guys. It seems like that's a really common denominator between all the racers. So anyway, kind of cool. And I'm sure that's probably, I don't know if that's still a struggle or if it's getting easier, but to try to balance it all, because for one, we know racing's expensive and you're obviously doing it at a high level now. So, and there's always somebody with more money. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. So budgets are never unlimited. Anyway, has that been probably the hardest part is balancing it, or is everything just kind of clicked and now you've done it long enough that you're able to just maintain?
I gave you the BG automotive side of it. So now let's go back and talk about the Bryan Gossel racing side of it. So
there we go.
When I opened BG automotive, like I legit had a contract and was going to go World Outlaw racing.
Wow.
Like I was going to be one of the mean 15. And I would have been dumber and stupid to go do it. But I think that was when the World Outlaws and the National Sprint Tour split. So they were really looking for people. And yeah, I was going to try to do it out of a bumper pull trade. It was just, it wouldn't have worked out. I would have failed so fast. And, so I kind of slowed down and went to work and did a bunch of regional stuff. And then I always raced in the Midwest because I felt the competition and the tracks were better back there. And man, I got to where I think I raced almost 65 nights a year.
Days.
And we would end up in Houston Sunday night and race Sunday night. And I'd leave. My cousin Marlon was my crew chief, and that was some of the most fun, best times I ever had racing. Having somebody build the confidence in you and tell you to just go drive the car and just go. And I mean, we did so good and had fun. But then the shop was growing, and that 65 went to like 15 or 20, and then it went to like 5, and then there was like 2 years where I didn't race. Because I realized I had to be responsible and be like, hey, racing is not going to retire me. I'm not going to be able to make a living doing it. I'm not that good, and I'm not in the right spot, and definitely not in the right part of the country. So we really focused on, and actually where I'm at right now, it's called ATI Automotive Training Institute. It's a coaching company to teach mechanics how to be business owners. And I learned right away, and actually, no, I didn't learn right away. It took me 3 years to listen to them, really, because I was paying a lot of money, and what they were teaching me over the phone and internet really helped me understand business. But I didn't come to an owner's class for 3 years in Baltimore out here because this is where they're based out of. But it still made me profitable and learn. And, when you're a boss, who's holding you accountable? So having a coach like, hey, why are you doing this? Your numbers suck. Like, you got to charge right. You can't give stuff away. Most business guys are just too good. And that's why they get such a bad name. They're all bad mechanics, bad plumbers. And most of the time they're just trying to do good. And it ends up biting them in the ass.
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
something didn't work out because they tried to save you some money and then you just shit goes wrong. Instead of being like, nope, we got to fix everything the right way so we can warranty it and stand behind it. Just
Well, it's a
understand that.
cutthroat business too. I mean, every block you look on, there's a mechanic shop or a car dealer. I mean, it's
Yeah, it
But the
is. And I
turnover
always,
is high because of that.
mhm.
and I always say the more of us doing it right, the better it is for all of us. And just like in racing, I will give anybody anything knowledge wise. Like that's something that really helped me is surrounding myself with people who are way smarter than me and just asking questions and not being afraid to go walk up to somebody. Oh man, that guy over there, he's got, he's doing 10 times the revenue I'm doing. I'm just going to go walk up and say, hey, how you doing? Introduce myself and not try to be a pain in the ass, but let them know, ask good questions, and then actually go do what they tell you to do. So when you come back and want some more information, you can say, hey, I did this and it helped. Instead of so many people will come and ask for advice, but they won't listen to it because oh, that won't work. You don't understand. And then I'm like, okay, it doesn't work. Go ahead. You just keep doing what you're doing. And that's the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome.
He's full of isms, man. We got to write these down.
Yeah.
My guys got a book. Like I've got so many. Yeah, I drive Cindy nuts because there's so many things that I start saying, and
Hey,
like there's a good one that a lot of people have stole is people like, oh, I have to go home and do this, and I'm like, I got pissed. I'm like, motherfucker, you get to go home. You get to go home to your kids, I was pissed at one of my guys. I have to go home and go to I was like, dude, you get to, and I don't know, that one really stuck.
Yeah.
So now getting people from I have to get to, it changes the mindset.
Yeah. I will say I've used that to get up at 4:30 in the morning to work out. And so, I have to, I get to work out because there's some people that don't get to, whether it's scheduled or physically incapable. Like it does change your mindset when you think like that.
Yeah.
But,
so continuing on the story, I told you guys I can ramble on a lot. So wheel me in there.
That's good.
No, you're good.
Like growing and focusing on the business. And then Austin started getting into it. And I'm like, how's this all going to work? And I'm like, dude, if you're going to do this, you're going to have to freaking bust your ass because this is a lot of work. And there's been several come into Jesus meetings where I was like, I got to lay down the law and be the boss and not the dad. Because there's a lot of responsibility into it. And getting the right people around us, it's all about people. So if there's any young, willing, we are looking for another, like a Ryan Land. Ryan Land is Austin's crew chief, crew guy. He is a freaking superstar. I'm so proud of him. Him and Austin are doing so good. It's like so inspiring to see the young guys do this. And there's so many people that just want to help them because they're good kids. They're like, I just want to help. A good, Bob Burkle's another good guy who's helping, and like Christopher Bell's father-in-law, Brian Kamenaugh, like he helped us at Volusia. He's just like I just love these kids. They're so, anything you need, I'm here to help you because I want to pass the stuff on. And
well, that's a good one to have behind your back there.
Yeah. It made me feel good when he texted me on Sunday saying good job. I was like, oh shit, yeah, I'm somebody. I got text from a badass dude.
Yeah.
But it's just really, I mean, I keep saying blessed because it's like you got to give all the glory to God and put your faith there. That's a huge part of who I am. And we all struggle. I am by far not perfect, and but just try to be like Jesus every day the best I can. And the blessings have been poured upon us, and it's so incredible. Like I'll tell Cindy, I'm just like, man, look at where we're at. And Nate Edwards, who's helped he's helped me for forever, and now he's kind of helping Austin. He came in, we call it the shed, but I call it a shed, but that's where all the race cars goes, in the shed.
I was going to ask, are they at the shop or where are these things at?
No, they got kicked out, and they're at our house right now. In the shed that can hold a couple semis inside the shed. If you is it Cindy's she said? Say that 5 times fast. No, she shed. No.
Yeah.
No, she definitely says it's hard. My shed, my stuff.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
There we go.
but yeah, Nate was just like, dude, man, coming from our 2-car garage, because that's kind of where we were. I mean, I legit was a 2-car garage where we raced out of for forever. And man, with the Torino days of my dad, like I literally we didn't have a garage in Denver, and he was in Aurora, and I would take tarps and wood and build a freaking tent over the car so I could get off on weekends. And because I lived in Fort Collins with my mom and go see my dad on the weekends, and just
whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. And I'd build tarps and do whatever to make it work. And so now Nate was like, man, coming from the 2-car garage and to where we are now, I'm in awe. I still pinch myself and just like,
yeah,
it's a lot.
Hard work pays off.
So
we made mention of it a little bit, but sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Another ism, people are like, it must be rough, and I'm like, no, it's actually pretty freaking awesome. But it's
I didn't always have this.
It's not living the dream. I'm working the dream.
Right.
Because it's hard work what we get to do. So
yeah.
What were you going to say, Blair?
I was going to piggyback off that just on the racing side of it. So for those that don't know, and we kind of made mention of it, but so you've been running dirt. That's kind of how you started out, right? I mean, and then you're also involved in the asphalt cars. So
we got a lot of asphalt viewers on waiting for this.
There's a lot of asphalt. There's a lot of asphalt stuff too. Like when Rocky Mountain went to pavement, it was hard to run it at Erie because I couldn't afford to buy tires and just keep up with stuff. And man, there was one time we built this Ford Thunderbird, and they started you on points, and I started late in the season, and I was just struggling, and I just got frustrated, and we didn't make the show at Erie. And I told my dad, I'm like, let's load this up when we're going to Rocky Mountain Speedway. We legit rolled into Rocky Mountain Speedway with the pavement super stock windshield pavement tires and started in the back of the B. And I don't remember if I won the B or what. I mean,
transfer.
I kind of got outlawed because they were like, you can't run these tires in this car here anymore. And I'm like, what? Come on, it's on a dirt track. And
the Bryan Gossel rule.
But that was kind of fun. But man, when you only have a pavement track around, you got to adapt. So when like Rocky Mountain went away, we ran seriously just took our dirt sprint cars, changed the torsion bar shocks, and put a wider front axle and the right front brake on it. And up until I think it was last year or the year before, Nick, like I went out in qualifying and I tied the old track record that Davey Hamilton set. And Nick Haygood came out right behind me and beat it in an ASCS dirt sprint car.
You guys
held up till last year.
Yeah, you guys. My first time, 3-4 years ago, seeing you guys, I'm like, I can't even imagine. Just from hearing you guys, oh yeah, we were flat-footed. I'm like, absolutely no way, no way.
Yeah, it's about. Aaron Wilson is incredible at that. Like, you have to have the car really free to be able to flat-foot it like that. And like on the qualifying lap, it is loose as fast, and on the edge, you're out of control. Just the old Daytona or Days of Thunder thing.
Days of Thunder, we love that.
We sure do. But yeah, that kind of morphed into. I ended up getting a pavement sprint car, and one thing led to another, and that's how I got Scott Hirsch, who a fellow that people don't know who Scott Hirsch is. He is a Hall of Fame crew chief, car owner. He's done midget stuff. And I had been after him forever to come help me or sponsor me in some fashion. He had a trucking company and just never worked out. He's like, I got a pretty sweet deal with what I was doing. He was literally, they would fly him every weekend back to where he was running a national midget thing with USAC and with the FMR team. And the car owner started getting sick, and there was a couple openings, and Scott's like, hey, I'll come check you out. He came to the house and we worked on it and tweaked and did this, and he's good. buddies with Bob East. And here I am, like, I don't know who Bob East is. He literally got on his cell phone and we're asking questions and he gets Bob on the phone and like, what up, Bobby? And I'm like, oh shit, he knows Bob East. All right. And then he got Bob on the phone and little do I know, like they're a family almost.
Wow. Yeah.
And so that just got us some pointers going. And the first night we raced together, we won. I think we set quick time, won the dash and won the feature. And it was just awesome. And we just hit it off really good. And he's just a good person and fun to be around. And he was selling his trucking company. And then Frank Manafort, who owned the midget team, and did end up passing away. And I'm trying to keep Scott busy. He's got to lose his winter weight right now because he puts on a couple pounds during winter, and during racing season, I work it off. So that added to, we're just sitting there and there was a pavement Silver Crown car that popped up for sale. I'm like, man, what do you think of this? You know, because I was just trying to figure out what I could do to race at an upper level, but not go run 100 nights. And the USAC Silver Crown, they're normally around 10 to 12, or normally around 12 races, 6 dirt and 6 pavement is the Silver Crown schedule. And he's like, yeah, that would be sweet. He goes, and he's done a bunch of that with Brad Knopfsinger and throughout the years. And we bought a pavement Silver Crown car, and I'm like, well, shit, if we're going to do it, like, let's get a dirt car. So we bought a dirt car and struggles, you know, it was a complete race ready pavement car, put water in it, fired it up, and of course it's fresh. Well, water started running up the exhaust pipes, and so we had to figure out a motor deal for that and just put one of my ASCS motors in that. And we ended up building a new beast dirt car just because it was the one I bought was a used coil car, and just technology and stuff. Bob's like, man, you really need to step up if you're going to want to do it. So we put a new dirt Silver Crown car together, and a new beast pavement sprint car. And
this is recently?
No, this was probably 4 years ago. It was before COVID, or during COVID, all that stuff when we were doing it. And we went out and we struggled with the pavement car so bad. I don't think we finished a race with the pavement car, just clutch issues and just trying to figure stuff out. I mean, I'm a mechanic, but I was dumbfounded, like, what is going on? Our stuff normally is good. But our very first USAC Silver Crown race, we were out in Selinsgrove. And man, I never drove one of these big old tuna boats. And I mean, I was timid. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like, damn, this is, you know, you got this big old fuel cell, even just qualifying, you don't fill it up, but just feeling it and going. And I think I qualified like 24th. And it was a miraculous dream come true. I started 24th and drove up to 3rd. I mean, it was awesome. And we ended up getting rookie of the year that year. And even with the DNFs in the pavement stuff, we still ended up getting rookie of the year. And I think we ended up, I don't remember, 8th or 10th. Like, we weren't in the top 5 in points, but, and then we were out in, I think Williams Grove the year after. And somebody comes up to me and like, hey, would you sign the USAC history book? And I'm like, sure. What do you want me to sign it for? He's like, because you're in it. And I'm like, what? I'm in it? And I was just like, what are you talking about? And he's like, look. And I had like 3 or 4 pages in there talking about, you know, I like Mario Andretti and AJ Foyt for the first ever start to be able to start so far back and finish so good.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And so he had me sign this book, and I'm just like, holy shit, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And so that was USAC stuff. And on the wing pavement stuff, we run pretty competitive with that. Even the first, we went up to Idaho for the Pink Lady Classic, and they were doing it's a 20,000 win thing. We'd never been there. And we ran good. We qualified pretty well. And I think we locked it in the show without having to run the last chance thing or the B main, or it's confusing how they run their program. And it's like, they cut cars out. They start 24 cars, and then at like a certain amount of laps, they cut cars out. And so the last 10 laps, I think there's 10 cars for a 10-lap shootout.
Yeah.
And every year that we've been up there, we've made the last top 10, even through catastrophic, had to change the front axle and stuff. And just, it's a tough race because it's a little boring. Yeah. But the first year,
who's telling us about that, Blair? Guest we had on was, it was last year. I can't remember who was telling us they did the Pink Lady. I'll have to go back. They were telling us about it. That was the first time I'd ever heard of it.
Was it Austin?
No.
Okay. No. I don't remember. I watched you guys. It's on YouTube. So yeah. I actually watched that race because I'd never seen it before. And then I try to watch all the videos you guys post and everything. And man, I'll have to
circle back. It was one of our guests towards the end of last year that was talking about it. But anyway, sorry, Brian.
Yeah, no, but yeah, the first year we went up there, we actually ran second. And I mean, it was doing everything I could to win the dang thing, but I got beat and ran second the first time we went up there, and kind of put a stamp on, like, because I think I was up there, Austin made it, Chris Mueller ran really good, and some people were like, holy crap, who are these Colorado guys? Like, they don't have payment stuff, and these guys just come up here and whooped our asses. You know? And that's like, they're the bread and butter of payment sprint car racing, you know, in Florida or out west, and here comes Colorado. And I enjoy the pavement sprint car racing. I don't know if it's because obviously it's when you do well, it's fun. So we'll just kind of see where that goes. There's definitely schedule conflicts trying to do all the different stuff that I have going on. Last year I did run the full national tour up until at Arrowhead. I don't remember when it was, and time flies by, as we were talking earlier. I crashed really bad and fractured T3 and T4 vertebrae, which is like up high between your shoulder blades. And that kind of parked me for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I would say.
Just to heal up. And I mean, I'm good, and it still just aches and pains, but I'm getting old, so I'm going to have them anyway. So just keep going.
Yeah. Mark Bremkamp wants to know, question in the chat there. Are you planning on running the July 4th race at CNS this year?
So yes, that's one I don't want to miss, because I love, like, that is one of the most epic races because it's sold out. That's where I'm trying to figure out, because I reward Ryan and have let him run our backup car. And they have a race in Belleville on Friday, Saturday, and CNS is Saturday, Sunday. So I'm like trying to figure out how to make this all work logistically. Austin is going for national tour points. I don't think
Blair will qualify it. Get him up there.
I know, right? But they're two separate shows, so it's like, it's not just a qualify thing, which that's something cool that they do at CNS, is make it a two separate shows. And buddies with Davey Hamilton Jr. and trying to get him to do the same thing to make it to where we can get more racing out of it instead of driving there to race for one night.
Right.
But it is so cool to just, I mean, the people we get to be around and hang out with. And like last week, honestly, was such a blessing, because Joe Bellum's been after me to have Sammy from the very get-go. He's like, man, you guys got the best equipment. I'm like, dude, I don't have enough equipment right now, because even last year we didn't have enough motors to put Sammy in the car, you know, and I don't want to shortchange this if something happened for our program. And this year we actually had it, and we're good buddies with Zach Blurton, who has put Sammy in the cars before. And that picture of me flipping through there that you used there.
Yeah, Randy Irwin.
That's a pretty, yep. Hey, Randy did a good job of nailing that thing. That is actually the car that I won with on Saturday night.
Wow. Fast forward a year and look what happens.
We did have to front flip it, and I put Sammy in the car that I had ran a bunch, but I'm like, dude, it's straight, it works, it's good. This one, I haven't ran it since we put it back together, so we're putting him in something we know works. And it was pretty cool to get to be around the people that we are. and Wayne Johnson is like a good buddy, big brother. Definitely a big brother to Austin. I mean, he truly loves and cares for Austin. Like Austin went on the road with him when Wayne was doing the World Outlaws right out of high school, and just got a awakening. And I was talking to Wayne last week, and he's like, man, he goes, yeah, it's so awesome. They've been running really good. Cole just ran third the other night, which was so awesome to see. And Wayne's like, man, I'm staying at my hero's house. He's like, I'm staying at Steve Kinser's house right now. And I'm like, I have Sammy Swindell staying at my house.
It's so funny, the full circle too, because so that race where you flipped, that was actually 2 years ago, because that was my first sprint car race ever.
Oh, that's right.
And I drove right through all your wreckage, because I ended up, I think, 6th. But talk about hanging on, that was a wild one. But Blurt and hitting the fan, you guys got together, and then like when Austin did the podcast, he was actually parked in the toter at Wayne Johnson's house on the road. So it's just like everybody, it's a pretty small world.
Full circle.
So,
yeah. We get to stay at Wayne's house. Like he's like, your house is my house, and vice versa, and it does help, because driving to Wayne's house is, I call it 12 hours from Colorado to his house. So when we can stay there, that saves 24 hours of driving back and forth to home. And it's, I don't know, it's just the relationships you build and just being nice to people. And when I went back and ran the Midwest, like I was running with Shane Stewart and Paul Silva, Brian Brown and Wayne Johnson and all the guys, like I got to become friends with them. And it just kind of just carried on, it's like, it's just awesome how it all works out.
Well, that Paul Silva 57 machine opens up from time to time. You're going to call him up and say, hey, buddy.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like, I just feel good that he knows who I am when I come.
Oh, absolutely. He's absolutely.
Like a living legend right there too. So, so there's a lot of moving pieces logistically, figuring everything out. And I'm losing track of time, because it was last year was the first year we sent Austin on the road by himself. And I mean, we legit hired Ryan, and I'm like, come on, get up here. He had to put his notice in, and he came up and started working, and they were just kind of figuring each other out. And we said, see ya. And that's when we were running both my car and his car out of the one rig, and he drove to Florida. And that was another Wayne Johnson thing. Wayne's like, dude, send Austin down there with me, and I'll make sure he's okay, and I'll show him how to get around and where to park and stay, and I'll make sure he doesn't do anything stupid. And I'm like, well, shit, I want to go. So that ended up being that's a lot of work, running 2 cars out of one trailer. That sucks. Yeah. Even this last week with running Sammy and out of my trailer, it's just like, dude, it's so much more work to take all the wings out and lower the car. And I mean, it just adds another hour or 2 to your night, no matter what. So
one of the questions. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Blair.
I was just going to quick comment. I was going to say, I'd feel bad for you, but out of my 28-footer, my dad, we had a stacker and everything when I raced asphalt. And he's like, I'm not taking that and getting it dirty at the dirt track. So now I'm back in my little tiny rig. It's a nightmare.
Yeah. But back to that comment Brian said, I feel bad for you, right? Yeah. But I'm
sorry, Brian, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask, we're kind of going down that path of like, you're still very much involved with Austin and his path. He's full-time national racing. Where do you see that going? I mean, are you talking, give it a couple years, high limit, World of Outlaw? What's in the cards there?
That'd be ideal. I mean, I've been looking, we've got a couple people we've been talking to about crew chief for him to help take him to that next level. But I think we'll have to move the race team somewhere else. So it's like, man, and even just finding help where we're at, it is challenging. I'm constantly looking, I don't like it when people say I can't find nobody, and then I'm telling myself, shit, it's hard to find somebody. And even myself, like I am looking for a crew guy, another Ryan who can help me, because it is so hard to have, just Scott and I going, where we need a third person and somebody who can be there all the time and just help. So if there's anybody listening out there, we are hiring.
Yeah, there you
and
go.
we do have fun.
Find somebody.
So reach out to me or Austin and see what we can make happen if somebody would love to come learn how to go racing.
Yeah. Well, I will say on the high limit, with their kind of crazy schedule, they do come this way quite often. I mean, Kansas, Nebraska, the Midwest. So maybe in the cards for, Austin to run a part-time schedule until he figures it out.
Yeah. I just called him today. I'm like, dude, I didn't have it on my calendar, but they're running at 81 Speedway in
Wednesday.
Kansas on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I hope you'll see Austin there. I wished I could be there, but I don't fly home until Wednesday. So
gotcha. So he's running for sure. He's going to run there.
I hope he's watching, and I'm hoping I'm shaking.
Get your ass moving.
Yeah, come on, Austin.
Ryan, come on.
That's the hard part is help. But yeah, you're right. And then it's like for me, I would love to go on the road and do that, but I also want to race. So I'm like, you can't do both most of the time. And it's like, it's like, I can't do that because I've always thought that'd be a blast too. But I'm sure the road's hard as much as you guys have traveled. That's one thing like I think a lot of people don't understand is like even what we do, if I get 20 races a year in, I'm doing the driving, we're still small. So I got to drive there because the trucks aren't mine. My sponsor gives me a truck. So I drive a little shit box
Must be nice.
around, but even that I got a tag trailer because I can't rely on a fifth wheel. So you do all the driving, you do all the work, and then my father-in-law and my wife help me most of the time. And people have no idea how hard it is to go on the road and then come back home. And even like we had a 2-week turnaround from Lincoln County and shit for me to do all that, without help. And there's nobody around here that like where we're at, it's a sprint car desert basically.
Yeah.
So
come up to El Denver.
I could just imagine how hard it is even out of Denver. I mean, it's just we're not in the right part of the country. I mean, obviously you can do it, but it's not the norm here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cindy, you got to pay to play is what Cindy tells me. And like we legit got home from North Platte 2 weekends ago or whatever that was. And we had Ryan was up. Cindy and I stopped and slept on the side of the road just because I couldn't make it. And they drove all the way home. And Ryan was up working. Whenever we got home, he had unloaded the car by himself and was already washing and getting stuff done. And he's like, Austin drove all night, so the least I could do is be out here working on stuff. And we had all 3 cars washed, maintenance, and ready to just start fine-tuning them for Monday.
For Sammy,
For Sammy to show up. And then even after Calhan, Austin and I got my car and Sammy's car unloaded and washed and in the shed and just kind of doing some organizing. And then I know he and Ryan were working on his stuff today. And you don't get a day of rest. You just got to keep going. And because if you wait, then you're going to be behind and stuff's not going to get done right. And there's so much work that goes into making it to where your shit makes the race. And I'm proud to say we don't have a lot of part failures or things falling off. We're not having a failure due to our work ethic. And that just comes to if our stuff's got to be clean. Like people don't realize how much you take the cars apart and clean and maintenance them.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, wow, the whole car's taken apart. Yeah, we do this every night. It's and Austin and Ryan have it down with the national tour thing. When you go outlaw racing, it is so hard to do with just 2 people. The pace of the program is so much faster.
They're
boom, qualifying, boom, boom. Even down at Volusia this year, I had to run the last chance qualifier, and I think I won the last chance qualifier, which put me in the next race. Like it was like I came off the track, turned me around, they put fuel in me. They give you enough time to at least put fuel in, check tire pressure, and roll you back out. Just the speed of the race and the things that you got to change. And you look at the outlaw guys, they're changing wings. Some of them changing headers and nozzles and reducers. I mean, there's so much stuff going into making the cars work for that track and just qualifying, because qualifying, if you don't qualify, you're out in left field. So
yeah, and I noticed that on Saturday at Texas Motor Speedway with the high limit guys. Like I was telling Blair, and some of our listeners, I actually went to that race last year, and the track, they hadn't run there in however 10 many years. And this Saturday compared to last year, it was just like you said, just bang, bang, bang. And for the fans, sitting in the stand, eating a corn dog and drinking a beer, it's great because you don't miss a thing. But for the drivers and crew, man, it's just nonstop. And if it, God forbid, something happens, then you're like screwed, basically.
They don't wait. Like up in North Platte, when Blair ran into the back of me and made me crash, right?
He's good at that.
Oh man, no, freaking DJ Brink, like he was quick qualifier or something. He should have started on the pole, and it was an extra $2,000 if he started 6th. And he tried bonsaiing it on the first lap, and like I was right behind Sammy and rolling, and DJ goes to spin out, and Sammy was like, oh shit, he's gonna hit me. And Sammy's like, he didn't hit me, but he goes, I figured you were right behind me. And then red, I hit DJ so hard, dude, it racked me. Like, dude, I hit him so hard, it flipped him on his side and knocked the front end out of it. And then Blair hit me and spun me around. Like, it was just like a whole shit show of stuff. But
yeah,
on lap 1,
I was gonna say on the first lap.
It was the first lap, and completely knocked the front end out of the car. And I call it a hillbilly crew, because there's a bunch of just people just helping, and we changed the complete front axle, and got back out. We didn't have a nose wing on, and Blair, you did get back by me. Like my wing.
I know. I was going to bring it up.
Yeah, I know, and
I didn't have one either. So.
But my wing, I had it in the trunk, and it wouldn't go back forward.
Oh no.
Something, because it hit the top wing too, and I don't know if it bent it or whatever, but it would not. It was all the way back, and it's everything. I couldn't keep the front end on the ground because I needed the wing to go forward.
Yeah.
To help it a little bit, not having a nose wing. But I was just like, dude, this is ridiculous. Like,
I will say the race last year at El Paso, and I mentioned it earlier when Austin did the 50-50 grind in qualifying, and I was right there. Like, it scared the bejesus out of me because I thought he was coming out of the track towards me. So I think I kind of scurried off a little bit, and then I was like, oh, that's Austin. I should go check on him. But in the feature, I remember I was standing next to Tara's father, and I was like, I swear to you, if Austin spins out one more time, like we had an Austin Gossel spin count. It was like every 2 laps. I'm like, this guy is checkers or wreckers, and I gained a whole new appreciation for him that night.
But most of it was not his fault. It was somebody else was running. It was not his. He wasn't spinning out. He was getting crashed out because
fair.
It was so brutal to watch that, and that car was totaled.
Oh, well, just to get it back from the 50-50 grind to race, I was like, there was like 50 people in your pit just throwing stuff, wrenching on stuff. It was pretty cool to see.
I mean, it's been in the back, the front, and I'm just squaring the axles off the motor plate, and I'm like, he's like, I go, just go drive the shit out of it. It's already fucked up. Just go.
Yeah.
He did too, because we ended up being by each other a lot, because mine, I wrecked it. In fact, I think I wrecked in front of Austin, and he hit me.
Yep,
so anyway, it was just a wild night. Yeah, so I tore the front axle out of mine. Our steering I couldn't even get full left when we went to the main. So him and I were just rodeoing off shit. But yeah, there was cars wrecking in front of him, and then it was bad luck. But we had a good time.
He was coming through the field too, and then something would happen, and I was like, oh damn, he's turned around again.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Man, entertaining.
This last weekend, he was probably the car to beat. Like, he was coming on pretty freaking hard. We were watching Leanne, Ryan's mom, did the Facebook video, and I watched it, and he was coming on good there. I was like, that is a proud moment for sure to have all 3 of our cars in the 1, 2, 3, and just have.
I was going to say, let's talk about that. Fresh off the win at El Paso, El Paso.
Yeah,
talk about the night.
It was awesome, man. Like, just getting back after the crash there in North Platte, and dude, I didn't finish the first national tour race. We were in Slime a couple weeks ago, and Austin was not happy with me because I passed him in the heat race, and he had run the B. He said I dirty slide jobbed him or something, but
no such thing.
I was like, dude, we just got to be faster. I passed you. Just go faster.
It's my cars.
Yeah.
And yeah, but just watching Austin rolling, man, he was quick time, and man, we were beating wheels in the heat race because we both started on the front row of the heat race, and I'm just like, oh, this is not going to be good. And we didn't give each other an inch. Like, we rolled in there pretty freaking hard, and I was like, we don't need to crash both our cars, and let's just we'll be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Austin was on a mission. He was, he wanted to go, and the redraw screwed him where he had to start seventh. But yeah, I mean, we had the car was rolling so good, and talking with Sammy, he was like, dude, he told me what I did wrong, which was awesome. He's like, hey, like, you should have done this. And on the starts is where he could kind of get to me, but I would have such drive coming out of turn 2 the way I was going in and hitting the cushion and just launching. Like, he would gain me coming into 1, but he couldn't keep up down the backstretch, and then we were about the same through 3 and 4. And I think Adam Trimble started to find something through the middle there till he overheated. He was rolling pretty good too, and then Austin had found it too, and that's where he was. If we had a couple more laps, we probably would have had a different outcome. But just to have, myself and Sammy and then Austin all, like, that's like an irreplaceable moment. Of just a living legend of Sammy Swindell and, father, son. And the coolest thing was, like, I'm a hugger. I just hug people. Like, that's just who I am. And Sammy's very quiet and reserved, and I had not hugged on him at all.
Let's hear it.
But we got to know each other, man. And my grandkids, he loved my grandkids. The dogs, like, my grandkids were playing on him. We
heard it last week in the episode. Yeah.
Yeah, he was just it was so awesome. But getting out of the car, he was just as excited as I was, man. And I hugged him, and I picked him up, he jumped in my arms, and I was like, this was so freaking awesome, and he was truly smiling and happy.
That's awesome.
I know he wanted to win, but I hope he had a lot of fun, and we'll see if we can get some other things to have Sammy come play with us in the future.
Be badass. Yeah. Definitely.
We're trying to get some work in the works for maybe some pavement stuff.
Oh,
so that'd be cool.
You heard it here first, folks.
I know. We'll see. We got to get some help from some people. So I'm not funding all of it. We need talking to the track to see what they can do. And if there's anybody, we got fuel and tires, and we get to put another car together for him, but we'll see what we can make happen. Because he's not.
Are you talking CNS July 4th?
Yeah.
Wow. Talk about a sellout.
Yeah, I know.
Do you say you prefer the pavement then? I mean, so here's my problem always is it seemed like it's really hard to find races, because obviously that's kind of where that's where I started, and we had never even been around the dirt. And I thought, well, that's kind of the natural progression. But looking at it, it was like, well, you have Idaho, you have a few, Evergreen, but it's like you have to go a long way, and there's very few races, it seems like. Is that what limits you on going more into the pavement? Yeah,
it does. And Davey Hamilton Sr., he did have the King of the Wing touring series.
Mm-hmm.
And that was awesome. That was so much fun. Oh my God.
The CNS was one of their stops, right?
A
couple years ago.
It was. Yeah. And when Davey quit, Jim just kept it going. Because it was such a good deal for him, and he'd be silly not to. And Jim's doing the non-wing sprint car stuff, which I would love to do it, but we'll be in Belleville that weekend with the Silver Crown car, and from Belleville we head over to Indy to go run an IRP and then the little 500 the week after that. So
that's badass.
Yeah, so there's a lot of busyness coming this way.
Are you and Austin both running the little 500 or
no? He doesn't have the desire to do.
Really?
No. No,
Dang.
He likes the dirt.
he likes the dirt. He'll do the wing payment stuff.
Mhm.
He really likes the dirt. You can give him some crap. So I'm like, dude, here's the car. Yeah, have at it. You can do it. But he'll stick to the dirt and do some of the wing payment stuff.
Gotcha.
And man, he's about one of the king of the wing shows. Like he ran second one time, and he can definitely get that thing rolling good too. So
I don't doubt it.
Yeah. Even Ryan in your car, we were talking about that before.
Yeah.
Ryan Land, it surprised me because it's not like he has a ton of seat time. I mean, he's a young kid too. And did he finish fifth that night? His first time in the car?
Yeah, like he had it rolling good.
Pretty awesome.
He runs his Legend, and
I was gonna say Legend.
That's my brother's old car.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he's just
that's why it's cheated up.
just a good kid. And, like I even think I don't know who, if Cindy was talking to Leanne, Ryan's mom, and like Brian,
she's watching.
Is she? They better be. But yeah, she was saying to Cindy, like, or somebody, like, Brian's known Ryan since he's like 3 years old, because I used to run the mod coupes when Gary was running those, and just got to know the Land family that from that back in the day. Man, that's where the racing comes and goes, and it gets so frustrating till you get the clubs and the stuff dies out, and then you got cars that are sitting there not doing nothing, and then you got a new class, and it's like, what? Like, come on, let's just try to fix what we got instead of reinvent the wheel. You know, stuff kind of dies away. And you got the supers that are here that I don't even know if they're running anymore. And that is hard because if you don't run a lot, your stuff's not going to work. Stuff just, it's going to rot, and then you got leaks and stuff breaks. If you don't use it, it's going to go down.
Weird question, Brian. How tall are you in Austin?
We're like looking at pictures. I'm like, God, he looks way taller than me. And he is. I'm right at 6 foot, and I don't know if he's 6'1" or something. But
what interests you guys in getting a outlaw cart so I can bring it back out?
Oh man, I don't even know what that is or where I go do that. So
well, we can make it happen,
right? I got grandkids. Maybe that's what we'll do. So
perfect. I need someone to race against, so let's do it. And I know if we brought a spare, Austin would jump in it. So
sure, I'm
teach me something.
I'm even go-karts. I'm like, man, that's gonna hurt. Like
suspension.
Yeah, it vibrated every motor mount in my teeth that you can imagine. Because at Pueblo, you have to run on the big track to get to the little one. And man, I didn't realize how big the potholes were until you hit it in one of those things. And it's like, that just freaking messed up my cross weight because now the spindle's 2 inches higher.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I'll get with Austin and see if he has any interest. We should get that up and running.
Put up Danny's comment. Show Brian that.
Austin's 6'2", I think. Oh no, sorry.
No.
Danny's? There we go.
There it is. So if anybody out there has a spare one at CNS, I've always wanted to race that, but that's the other thing. Even to try to rent a ride, I was like, there's just not that many cars around, or they're old. It was like, I don't want to go out there and do that with a steel block. And
we got one.
There you go.
I know that's the problem. Is it's doing what I'm doing has been hard, but I talked to Danny about it a lot because he pushes us off, and that's the only thing that I wish there was more of the asphalt stuff. Because everybody, obviously, you've raced both. There's always that guys are either hardcore dirt, and I love the dirt. I actually prefer it now, but I still love the asphalt racing. It's like if you could do all of it, I'd race every day. It's just you have to pick what you can do, and
so you should get at Austin's the Hurricane car, and we have a Hurricane asphalt sprint car for sale as a roller. And the only reason we're selling it is because I'm trying to make everything the same. Because
factory team.
Yeah, and people don't realize that, and that was one thing. Like, racing even with Jason Johnson and knowing him back in the day and racing when he was doing ASCS stuff, and I was like, man, I'm wanting to keep going and do more and get better. And there's one thing that I remember he said. He goes, make everything the same. Every
Mhm.
part in your trailer has to be the same part. So that way you're comparing apples to apples and you're
Yep.
not mixing and matching stuff. And we try our best to do that. But like right now, I mean, I have a Maxim chassis and a couple of Eagles, and Austin's all Maxim. All of Austin's stuff is the same. And on
But
the
you still
pavement
beat
type
him.
stuff, yeah, I know, right? The old guy can still get her done every once in a while. I mean, like last year sucked because I didn't win a race last year, and even on the ASCS thing, they're like, Brian hasn't won a race since 23, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't win last year. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you
Oh,
for
that's the
pointing that out.
worst. You know what? You can only pull into the pit so many times and see disappointment. And the crews never mean to do it, but you know that feeling when you pull in and it was a shit night. I saw that a lot last year too, where everybody's like kind of arms crossed, and they don't want to. They know you're just as disappointed, but it was a rough year. And then when you pull in, and even like when you and I were at Lincoln County, when you salvage a night like that and actually run decent with no nose wings and yours trunked, and everybody's smiling and they're like, you made the best of it. That's fun. But even that, going winless or not doing worth a shit it's hard on you.
Yeah. When you're not competitive, if you're not competitive and just struggling, and I was on, like last year, I was on the struggle bus bad, and I want Austin to do the best, and I was giving him the best equipment and motors, and it showed. And just like this year at Volusia, we got some new stuff, and I had a new car, and dude, I think there was only 3 or 4 people to make all 3 nights down at the ASCS thing, and I made the show all 3 nights down there.
Awesome.
And like last year, I struggled to make the show, and this year I didn't make the World Outlaw shows because it was at Volusia, and one of the tough. Like, dude, I'm literally sitting here starting, next to Shelton Hottenchild in the B main. I'm like, I'm not doing that bad because I'm around all these outlaw guys that are running
it's just
the B.
that tough.
It is that tough down there. But in the 360 deal, I don't know, man. I had fun. We had the car rolling really good, and the engines were running good. So it was pretty spectacular.
Absolutely. Well, when's your with a little bit of time left? When are you running next locally?
Probably the 4th of July.
Okay, you're gonna take a little break there. Okay.
If that's what, from local stuff, like
Oh yeah. Local stuff.
And just like the weather was looking really bad. We're supposed to be in Paducah, Kentucky, and somewhere else in Kentucky Friday, Saturday, and it was looking really bad. But now it's looking better. And if the weather was bad, I was like, I ain't gonna go. Then Austin's like, well, we go to Knoxville if the weather's bad. And he's like, he said he could go to Knoxville. And then I'm like, we could go to Knoxville. He's like, well, how are we going to do that? I'm like, dude, come on.
So he's going to go 81 on Wednesday and then Knoxville.
Probably, depending on weather. But at least if he's in 81, he can then just go stay at Wayne Johnson's house and figure out which way he's going. Depending on weather, because weather has been challenging, we ran down quite a bit with USCS, the Florida series down there. And I came home a little early. But Austin stayed down there, and he was like getting rained out, and it was going to be he's like, dude, it's going to rain again. And it did. I think the next 2 weekends rained out. So I was glad he came home because we were able to kind of get working and working on some of the cars and repairing stuff from, I don't even know how many nights we've raced this year. If it's, I don't know, 20 nights early this year or something. I don't know, 15, 20. Yeah. But just regrouping and kind of getting ready to hit the national tour full swing again. So,
yeah. Hopefully the weather clears up. I mean, the high limit stuff, they were off for a month and a half because every race just bang. Happened last week again.
And the Outlaws too. Yeah. The Outlaws got rained out the second night. So
I feel like half their season is going to be rainouts. It's crazy. Yeah. If it continues anyway, but 20 nights. There's Leanne. She's fact checking you. There's been 20 nights.
Oh, look at her. Yeah, there we go.
Got a fact checker.
Got to keep smart people around me because like that way they keep me straight.
Right. Yeah. Well, buddy, we appreciate your time, and we know it's 10, almost 11 your time, and Baltimore,
Yeah.
as you say. Yeah, so we'll have you on again. This was fun, and I feel like we didn't even scratch the surface with you. So we'll be following you and your son. Hope to see him, on the national broadcast on Wednesday at 81. And
Yeah.
but yeah, man, I great to you probably didn't know who I was in the pits last year, and that's probably okay because I'm just a nobody and helping Blair out when I can. But it was a pleasure to get to know you a little bit tonight, and I hope others enjoyed that same thing. So I'll pass to Blair, but appreciate the time tonight, Brian.
Heck yeah, you guys are welcome.
I just had to say before you got off too, we didn't mention it, and I meant to, it's just we'll have to get you on again. But one of my favorite people at the racetrack is Brian's dad, Jerry. So we got to shout out his YouTube channel. If you're watching any kind of racing from this region, it's
Good
Jerry
call.
D. Gossel on YouTube. Go like and subscribe that page too. I love that guy, and he's a wild man. So there's some stories that are accruing that I'm already learning, and he's one of my favorite people. So
I do have to ask
him.
Yeah, I do have to ask who gives him access to the spots he's standing to film that? Is he just walk in like he owns the place, or how does that work?
You don't know my dad very well, then. Like,
no, I don't.
He walks in like he's
right.
just
That makes
like
sense.
He owns the place and
So I'm like, this is like a spot where I don't think you're supposed to be, buddy. And the content is amazing, but I'm like, who let him in there?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I guess it's better to ask for forgiveness than for permission. In a lot of those cases, he's gotten kicked out and yelled at, and then you should hear him on the other side when he gets kicked out and yelled at.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Since we've had the duo, let's get the trio on at the end of this year, kind of when you guys are dying down in the season. Let's get your old man. We got you. We got Austin. Let's get you a trio and just talk racing.
Boy. That'll be trouble.
Oh, we should do it.
I love him. We're going to get shirts made. So, and my wife, every time we go to the track, that's the first person she has to find when you guys are there. So,
Old man Gossel.
Put it in his ear, and I know Austin would be down, so we'll do a trio of the Gossels at the end of the season. Maybe the season-ending episode this year. We'll do it.
There you go.
All right, buddy. Well, go get you some sleep, and good luck to you the rest of the season. We'll be following along, man. Appreciate the time tonight.
All right, thanks everybody. Have an awesome night.
Yeah.
All right, take care. You. All right, Bryan Gossel on the Throwin Sliders podcast. That was a good one. I wrote down a lot of isms and timestamps, so I'm gonna have to sort through that. Oh man, there you go, Leanne. Yes, that would be crazy, and I think that would be that might set some records for the old podcast.
Look at Ryan too, just the whole crew. I mean, that guy, he entertains me as much as the racing does. So he's just a blast. He's a good dude.
I remember you. I remember you telling him me about him last year, and then I watched his videos. And I'm like, how in the hell is he standing right there? Like that's almost dangerous. Yeah, great. I did see this comment. People talking some smack on me about getting a sprint car, Mr. Danny and Blair. I see that in the comments there. Yeah, well, I think that ship might have sailed, but unless Blair's gonna, keep it down there, we talked about it, but. Just don't think it's in the cards for me, buddy.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, maybe. You never know. Anyway, never know. We have not really any segments left. Wanted to talk through some high limit stuff and then get into Blair's kind of view of. Obviously, we ran through it with Brian about the El Paso County Speedway race that took place this past Saturday night. Unfortunately, Blair, Tara, and I are not very good at making bets. We unveiled the Dirt Dollars segment, and Blair was on a heater on Thursday until Mr. Reitzel. I can't remember what they said. I was actually going to ask you about it, Blair. What happened?
Broke? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what
they said it. They said it in the main because I thought he was done for the night after kind of what happened. He was up in a lot of smoke, but I can't remember what they said. Maybe someone in the comments could fact check me there, but anyway, I thought for sure you were gonna win that bet, and he was he was a missile that night. But wanted to go back to, and we touched on it with Brian, but just the not going to that track for 10 years, whatever it was, and then to come back, and obviously they had the rain, which kind of screwed him on Thursday, and it was too wet, and it was just hammered down, and Brett Marks just you couldn't touch him.
Dominated.
And Saturday night was a little better. I wouldn't say it was full 2 lanes. Some of the guys were getting up in the cushion, but kind of the same thing. I mean, Rico just hauling the mail, and Larson was kind of catching him and stuff. But I think the way they do that with the big track with NASCAR being there, Thursday, I'm a big, like, I look up in the crowd. I don't know why, but like NASCAR, I do it too. I'm like, oh, that's not good, or that is good. Thursday was kind of scarce. I did appreciate that they went up there. It's kind of a new thing. I don't know if you saw that with the military and shook their hands. And I was like, wow, to some of these stars like Larson just walking up there with no security is kind of crazy. But Saturday was a lot better. And I think they're doing it. I know they're doing it again. So Kansas, same thing as we talked about 81 Speedway. It's not that far from the big NASCAR race, and that's where they're at this weekend. So I think High Limit has something there that they can attract, these NASCAR guys that maybe have never seen a sprint car race and get their asses in the seats. And they're like, holy crap, this is, cool. So whoever's doing the scheduling for High Limit's doing a great job. But yeah, better race on Saturday. But unfortunately, they don't have the odds out yet since we're still about 48 hours out from 81 Speedway. But Blair, Tara, and I are feeling froggy. We'll post another reel there of who we think is going to win. I did find out officially that gambling on the High Limit and World of Outlaws is legal in the state of Colorado. So if you're interested in that, there's several betting apps that actually allow that. And DraftKings is where kind of we've been getting our odds from. It's crazy because Flow Racing does their own odds, NXT Bets does their own odds, and obviously the sports books do too. But yeah, if you're so inclined, it's kind of fun to not just bet on, really NASCAR or F1. It's actually like, a lower, not really a lower series, but it's kind of fun to follow along. And then they got Dirt Fantasy going on too. So really, really big stuff for sprint cars this year as far as betting and getting to talk about it. Like, the odds are on this guy and, placing your bets and stuff. So anyway, follow along with our page. We'll be making friendly bets and actual bets. I did find out, Blair, that if you are going to bet, you have to do it before qualifying. I was trying to trick the system, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to see who gets quick time, but nope, it kicks you out after hot laps. So anyway, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I wonder if there's any rules against drivers. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if me carrying an ASCS license even would inhibit that, or what they're going to do about that. You know what I mean? With insider info, but racing, you know how that is. I think it's. Yeah. I mean, I don't have any money to bet anyway now, so the sprint car pretty much eats that up. But it is cool. I think it does bring just a different dynamic to the sport for people really getting enthralled with it, because obviously and everything for the better or worse in some cases.
Yeah, but, absolutely. I think it's good for the sport, good for sprint car racing, and maybe it'll extend into late models, midgets. You never know, into some of these bigger tours. So anyway, if the odds do come out ahead of Wednesday, we'll post something and give you Blair, Tara, and I's picks. Obviously we were way wrong. Blair was he was good, doing well there until
I was gonna win.
You were gonna win, no doubt about it. I was texting in the group and flipping them off. I'm like, we don't even have a prayer. But anyways, take us through El Paso County.
It was a pretty fun night. I ended up qualifying fourth, so it was, I think, Gossels and Trimble. So Brian, Austin, I think Austin was quick time, Brian, and then Trimble in there, something like that. But anyway, I ended up qualifying fourth. Ended up beating Sammy in the heat race. Trimble got me, and I beat Sammy. Started outside pole. Trimble was hooked up. They got that car dialed in. They're working well together. So Sammy actually spun out behind me, and I was saying, hey, I was just going for a Sunday drive. If you watched the podcast last week, you know what we're talking about. But I was pretty hooked up there. And then for the main, as far as my night went, they ended up putting Sammy in the redraw, and so that made me start eighth. And the track was pretty much one groove, and I don't know why, but it got watered. Like last year, it was bone dry slick, but they watered and watered and watered. Ended up developing a little bit of a top, so the track was fun, but I couldn't really go anywhere. And so I started where I finished, or finished where I started, and I was a little disappointing. But we've had pretty good race cars, so I was just really, really tight. So if I had a lot of people telling me they thought I was on fire. That was just those titanium brakes just literally glowing. The first
time I saw Larson do that, I was texting. I was like, what is wrong with this car? But nothing, actually.
No, one set of brake pads a night after. So I've gone through 2 sets of brake pads in 2 nights, and driving the car a little bit different now.
Yeah.
But everybody else, there was one car, and I don't know who it was, but he flipped over the wall. So, and disappeared, and I didn't even know what happened. So it must have been all right, and said they landed on his wheels. But the Gossels up front, I mean, that was pretty cool to see with Sammy in their cars and equipment. And I got to go give Sammy some shit before the race. After
Did
all
you
the
ask him to
podcast
sign an
stuff.
autograph or what?
Yeah, I told him, yeah, you're going to make time and just joking with him a little bit, but he was real cool. And everybody out there, we always have a blast. So looking forward to keep going. But it was pretty uneventful other than that. I think Trimble got hot, had to pull off. So, it's kind of disappointing to even see what he could do because he was free enough to probably get around some guys. And Austin started right in front of me and he was free getting in the corner and he pushed right on through. So pretty good crowd and a fun night, but you never know what you're going to get there. I mean, that track's always a tricky one.
Yeah, weather held out too, so that's good.
Yeah, it was beautiful day, so that was nice.
Yeah, and just looking ahead a little bit for the local stuff, looks like we got Saturday, May 10th, got the late models back with some now 600s, whole host of other IMCA stuff. Where are you up next?
I'm going to be, that's at Lincoln County, right? That the late models, that should be a really good show. So if you're out there, go check that out. I think I'm going to go to Vado at Las Cruces in the bottom of New Mexico there. So it's about 7.5 hours for me. That's Memorial weekend, but we've got a couple weeks off. I got to fix a lot of stuff that, that first race, we broke a lot of things. So I've been kind of restocking and only having one car's tough right now. So hopefully we'll have another one, but everything's, sponsors are tough this year, but he's kind of buckling down. So we're going to do what we can do. But then we'll hit some of the local shows and try to get on the road as much as possible. But I'm kind of like where Brian was at when he said he could do about 20 races a year. Yeah,
it's fair. Yeah, and then I think, a week later, they're back at El Paso with the midgets and everything else IMCA. So if you're a dirt racing fan, now's the time. And I think you can buy pre-tickets to all of the BST tracks, right, online?
Yeah. Sure. And then that's like they had the autograph signing and stuff. But in fact, side note, you need to make me some more hero cards because we literally signed autographs
got one right there. You can have that
one. So it was cool to see everybody. But dirt track racing seems to be healthy. Get out there, bring a friend. We need it. And if you do like it and enjoy it, you don't want it to die. So I don't want to race in front of nobody in the stands. No. There's no money in that for anybody. It's not fun. So bring a friend.
Yeah. I told Blair a story last year or 2 years ago now at Pueblo. The carts, for whatever reason, were always like towards the last of the lineup. And a couple times I won the feature and I look out to the crowd and there's 0 people there. I'm like, oh, okay, this is fun. So to Blair's point, you don't, we drivers, I say we, but drivers, entertainment and putting asses in the seats. That's what makes it go around, and it gives us something to talk about every Monday. So if you're not doing nothing and you're in the area, go out there.
Shane Epley had commented, I think there was definitely a top. That is true, and that's kind of rare for El Paso. You get that on. It was a cool night, so when they rewatered it, that's all there was. I even tried below in the bottom to try to get. I about drove right into the door of a couple cars. I was like, that's not worth it for a couple spots, but really, no, I was so tight. It was on the top even. I was like, ooh, we cranked it down because I thought it was going to be slick and didn't work. But
Well, good stuff. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed Bryan Gossel on the show. We'll continue to get absolutely. We'll continue to get guests on here as we go. And if you're not subscribed on our YouTube page, please go do that right now. Trying to grow that page after we rebranded. And obviously, if you know someone either in the state of Colorado or anywhere in the world, US, tell them to like our podcast, listen to us. We're available really anywhere that you can think of, either live on Facebook, afterwards on Facebook, YouTube, as I mentioned, all your big podcasting platforms. I know the big ones are Spotify, Apple, for all you Apple users. We won't go down that path. But get on there, listen to us, subscribe, leave us a review. We love hearing from you guys. We got that mailbag. If you guys got a question for Blair or I, shoot it to us there. It's confidential, unless you don't want to remain anonymous. But just appreciate you guys tuning in, trying to grow this. We got big stuff in store this year, and we're just going to try to pump out content for you guys, and hopefully you like it. So I will shut up now and pass to Blair. And
No, that's it. We did miss. We got a comment that it is Fan Appreciation Night this Saturday, May 10th at Honor Speedway. So in my hometown here, it looks like they have IMCA classes, 4 of them, farm trucks, warriors, and then junior compact. So there,
I didn't see that.
It's in there. I lost it now, but anyway, I did see it. So since pits are open at 3, racing starts at 6. So my hometown. So if I'm not, I might actually go check it out and go watch some racing and need a break from working and working off the car. But get off in the evening, go work on it all day, and then go watch some racing. So
go down there, give Alan Davis a hard time. Tell him Blair and Brandon sent you. Be good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's it for me, man. It was a good show. I really was interested in hearing Brian. And like you said, I think we just scratched the surface. So we'll keep up with them. They're doing big things out of Colorado. So I also love to see that.
Absolutely. And like I said, I mean it. We'll get all three of them on. That'll be a blast to talk to all three of them. So, All right. Well, until next time, you all have a great week. And if you're participating anywhere in the U.S. this weekend racing or in the midweek, obviously, as we talked about with Gossel, good luck. Give us something to cheer for. And until next week, Blair and Brandon signing off. Keep throwing those sliders. Holla. This was another production of Scrubbin' Tires Media. The Throwin' Sliders podcast is hosted by Blair Cooper and Brandon Hall. Video and audio was created by Bryce Holcomb. Please like, share, and leave a 5-star review. And as always, keep throwing those sliders.